Hi lovely and darling viewers, it's Jen here at Check Her Joy, and this time I'm reviewing my haul for Free Comic Book Day 2017. My comic book store only lets us take 3 free comics, so these are the 3 I picked. Doctor Who, Star Trek, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm going to review each of them. In the description below will be the list of artists and writers for these comics. If you guys want to find them and check them out. So the first comic and the one that I had to get was Doctor Who. This one follows the 12th Doctor and Bill, but also has the 9th, 10th, and 11th Doctors making appearances. So this one starts off really early in Bill's journey with the Doctor. She's still getting to know him, and he's still surprising her, which I love the introductory stories for these characters. I think this is Bill's first comic, too, which is super exciting. I'm totally loving Bill as a character on the television show, and she translates really well to these comics also. So in the story, they land on this planet, and they land in the middle of a civil war. And so the Doctor has a plan to stop it. And so he breaks into this temple and finds the one artifact that can get them to remember that they're actually not that different, and hopefully stop the war. In the process, he also starts telling Bill about the other times that he's been to the planet and the other versions of him that have interacted with the society as it's evolved. And I love not only seeing the Doctor at different points in his life, but also seeing the evolution of this entire society as the Doctor interferes and tries to help as best he can. I loved exploring this whole story and this planet and what these creatures are like, and where they came from. So I really enjoyed this one. It's definitely 5 stars and was totally worth picking up. Next up, I have Star Trek The Next Generation, Mirror Broken. And this one takes place in the Mirror universe, which I didn't even know existed. So in this world, we have a different evolution of Earth and the Federation. And so instead of trying to explore and understand other worlds, the crew's main goal is to actually conquer and enslave other societies. And this makes a much rougher crew, and we definitely get to see different sides of all their characters. So in this comic, we are following Lieutenant Barclay, who is a minor character in the series on the television show. But through here, we get to see how he views the other members of the crew, from Captain Picard to like Deanna Troy and Data, and how their personalities have changed, and really just how the entire structure of how the Enterprise operates is a lot more kill or be killed kind of thing going on here. So I enjoyed this one. It's darker than typical Star Trek stories, and it definitely makes it interesting, like how these characters are going to change. And they're still the same characters, though. Like, you can tell that it's still Picard, even though, I mean, it looks like Picard, but also like how he acts and being in charge and trying to keep the crew together. But also, this is the reality that they live in, and they have to adapt to that. I also really liked Barclay narrating and really like related to him, and like sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do just to survive. So this one I liked. I think it's probably maybe 3 or 4 stars for me. It's definitely not my favorite. I would rather have a comic following regular Star Trek, but this one's still entertaining and intriguing and interesting. This is also a prequel setting up for a miniseries they're going to have coming up. So the last one I picked up is Buffy the High School Years. This features a comic with this features a comic with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and also has another comic with Plants vs. Zombies in the back, which I was not quite as interested in than in Buffy. So the Buffy comic is entitled No Need to Fear, the Slayer's Here. And this one centers in a comic book store. Buffy and Xander just wander in, or just browsing, trying to do some shopping, have a normal afternoon, until Buffy finds out that the comic book shop, until they find out that the comic book store is actually being threatened by a vampire, and so Buffy needs to do some slaying. She also meets this adorable little girl who loves Sailor Moon, and I loved that part of this comic. Yeah, it's just fun, and it feels like Buffy. It's entertaining. I love the fact that it's set in a comic book store, and they're talking about superheroes, and it just works really well. Next one is Plants vs. Zombies. This one's entitled Unrest in the Old West, and in this one, the plants, the zombies, and the humans get transported back in time and end up in the Wild West, and they need to work together to get their time machine back from the sheriff. And the sheriff is basically holding the time machine hostage, not even knowing what it is, but knowing that they want it, and is making them do various chores and tasks in their Wild West town. Like, I didn't really know what to expect from this one because I don't play Plants vs. Zombies. Like, I know the general idea. But to see them together, it was so this comic was entertaining. I actually liked it a lot, which I wasn't necessarily expecting to. I love the time travel aspect and just the weird, bizarre things they have to do in this town. Also cool to see how, like, the plants do all these chores because they're not typical, like, humanoid things, and how the zombies react because they're not fully alive. I feel weird reviewing this since I don't really know much about Plants vs. Zombies, but it was entertaining and everything was explained enough that I wasn't lost either. So, just a bonus, basically. I really wanted the Buffy comic. So those are the comics that I got for Free Comic Book Day. Let me know in the comments below if you picked up any of these and what you thought of them, or which ones you did pick up, and are there any worth picking up that I missed? I love comics, guys, basically. Peace out. I love you guys. Keep reading. Bye.